Today, I want to share something that happened this week with my husband. I hope you can't hear me because he was complaining the other day. He said to me, he's like, "Why are you always telling our business? Like, why are you always talking about the things that happen?" And I'm like, because they're real, because that's how I can share what I'm learning. And it's also relatable. One of the things that I never want is to come on here and pretend like I'm the girl who has the answers. I'm not an expert. I do not play one on social media. I'm just a girl trying to figure life out. And so, one of my biggest complaints about my husband is he is the least romantic person that I know. Least romantic. Like, he's not a birthdays, he's not a Valentine's Day kind of guy. And it used to be okay back in when my daughter still lived at home, when she was still at home, because she would make up for it. So my daughter would be the one who'd make sure that on Valentine's Day I had flowers and chocolate and whatever, and on my birthday. And then she left home. And then it really became apparent who'd been buying my Valentine's Day and birthday gifts all along. So my big complaint, I'm always telling my husband, "You're not romantic. You don't do anything romantic for me." And he said to me the other day, 2 days ago, he says to me, "I'd really like to do something romantic for you this Valentine's Day. What would you like?" And I did the double blink thing because I realized in that moment something that I had not ever realized before. Is that in all of this time, I'd been complaining about how you're not romantic, you don't do romantic things for me. And yet, I didn't know what I wanted. Yeah, he's like, "Tell me what you want and I'll do it," right? Tell me what you want for Valentine's Day. Tell me what you want, whatever, I'll do it. And I literally didn't have an answer. And it made me stop and think. Made me stop and think about all the other areas in my life where I don't have the things that I want. And I realized that, okay, I spend so much time focused on what I don't have, or what isn't working, or what I don't like. And yet I never focus on or define exactly what it is that I do want. And so that for me, if I had to share three things, so these are three things that I'd like to share for the reason why most people don't get what it is that they want. The first one is exactly that. We don't ask for what it is that we want. We don't know. We don't have clarity around what it is that we want. So we put these vague things into the world. I want to be in a relationship. Okay, what does that mean? I want to have lots of money. Okay, what does that mean? I want to have a good body. I want to be healthy. What does that actually mean? Like, what does that actually look like? Because how will you know when you get there if you don't actually know what it is that you're asking for? So in my case, I was complaining about my husband not being romantic, but I don't know what it is that I want. What is it roses? Is it a dinner? I didn't have clarity on what it is for me being romantic meant. So God bless him. How would he know? If I don't know, how's he going to know? And so that's one of the things that I want you to step back and look at, the things that you don't have in your life. How clear are you about what it is you actually want? Do you know what it is that you actually want? So when you say, "I want to have money," okay, what does that look like? Because I can give you $1 right now and you have more money than you had before. I can give you $10. I can give you $1,000,000. How will you know when you get there? And then here's the other thing too that happens. I have a lot of friends who are like, "Oh my gosh, I wish I could be in a relationship." That's awesome. You want to be in a relationship. And that's what you're putting out to the universe, to God, whoever you pray to. I want to be in a relationship. And then the universe gives you a being with a pulse. And it's like, you asked for a person, there you go. And then we're like, "Oh, no, actually, I wanted someone who would," and then you have this list of things. So maybe that's where we have to start. The first thing, the reason that we don't have is because we're not asking for exactly what it is that we want. In the Bible, I'm a PK, a preacher's kid, it says, you have not because you ask not. And so are you clear about what you want? But not just the what, the why. Because oftentimes we're asking for things. I want to have $1 million. Why? Why do you want to have $1 million? Why do you want to be in a relationship? Why do you want to have the body that you're aspiring to? Do you have clarity on the why? Why do you want that particular thing? Do you want the $1 million because you think that's what will make you feel secure? Do you want the $1 million because you want to buy a house? Do you want to be in a relationship because you want to feel loved? Why? Because when you're clear on the why, then that also gives you more clarity about what it is you want to feel. Because one of the things that I wish more people talked about is the fact that all of the things that we aspire to, the goals that we have, they're never about the thing. It's not about the money, the person, the car, the whatever it is. What it's about is how we think it's going to make me feel. And so when I have the money, maybe like in my case, I grew up without money. I grew up poor. And so I thought, like, honestly, this was a true story. Growing up, we had no money. And so I always thought if I could just have money. And it was always this moving thing. Like if I could just make $25,000 a year, oh my gosh, I'll be happy. Then I made $25,000. If I could just make $50,000, if I could just make $100,000, and every milestone I checked off, and I got there, checked off that milestone, I wasn't any happier. And then it was like, oh, I know what it is. If I could just make my first 7 figures, then I'll be happy. Got to 7 figures, and you know what? I wasn't happy. If I could just make my first 8 figures, then I'll be happy. Got to 8 figures, wasn't happy still. And so it's really checking in with, why do you really want the thing that you want? For me, the money, it was because I thought that's what would make me feel secure. As someone who'd grown up without feeling secure, because there was always money struggle and it was always hard and money was the source of so much angst and pain and anger. I thought if I could just have money, then I'll be happy. Then I'll feel secure. For me, that was the feeling. And I got to all these, made 6 figures, made 7 figures, made 8 figures. Didn't give me what I was looking for. And so why do you want what you want? Get really clear on the why of what you want. The second thing that I was thinking about based on the example with my husband is the fact that sometimes what you want comes packaged differently. And you miss it because you're like, no, that's not what I asked for. You're expecting it to show up exactly as you asked for it. And I saw this meme actually this past week where it said that, some of us are praying to God to give us a cake. And then God gives you eggs, flour, sugar, butter. And we're like, no, God didn't answer my prayers. But God gave you what you asked for. And so in my case, I was like, oh, my husband's not romantic. I wish he could be more romantic. And it was given to me in the form of him asking me the question, what would you like me to do for you? And I was like, no, that's not what I want. I just want you to figure it out yourself. I was being given the flour and the sugar and the butter and say, hey, you make whatever it is that you want. But because it didn't look how I imagined, I was imagining maybe something from the movies, where I come home and there's the rose petals strewn on the ground and there's candles and all of that. And because it didn't look like that, I was like, no, that's not romantic. You asking me what I want. But I was being given what I'd asked for. And so sometimes it doesn't look how you think it's going to look. And you know what? That's okay. It might actually be even better because I thought about it afterwards and I was like, this is actually even better because if he gives me something that I don't like, then I'm going to be disappointed, right? I'm going to be disappointed that it wasn't the rose petals on the ground and the blah, 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 blah. But if I can say, this is what I want, this is how I want it to show up, this is all the things, That's great. That's an even better thing. I got to decide what I wanted. It didn't come dressed how I imagined, but I was still getting, in fact, I was getting better than what I had asked for because I was going to decide, or I'm going to decide what I want romantic to look like for me. And so sometimes just opening ourselves up to, okay, it may not look exactly how I asked for it, but could it be even better? Is the universe, is God giving me even better than what I asked for? The third thing that I think stands in the way of getting what you want is you can't want something and doubt it at the same time. You can't want something and be doubting at the same time. You can't say, yes, I really, oh yes, I believe I'm going to have the relationship of my lifetime. Yes, I believe I'm going to make the money. Yes, and then at the same time in the back of your mind be like, oh, but I don't know if it's going to happen. If you want something, you believe no matter what. Because if you believe in the laws of the universe, right, there's something called the law of polarity, which means that for everything, there is an equal and an opposite, right? So if you're pulling this way to say, I want the relationship, I want to be in a beautiful relationship, but at the same time, you're pulling in opposition with your doubt. Like, I don't know if it's possible. And I have all these friends who have like horrible guys in their life or women in their lives. And I don't know, like I haven't seen happen. You're pulling, it's tug of war. You're pulling on both ends of the stick. And so you're never going to get what you want because you don't believe. Because remember the saying that says that you don't get what you want. You get what you expect. You don't get what you want. You always get what you expect. And so if at a subconscious level, you're doubting whatever it is that you're asking, you're doubting that you're worthy of whatever it is that you're asking for, you're doubting that it's possible for you, that's exactly what's going to manifest. Because our lives, yes, we have the conscious part of our lives, but I've spoken about this many times here before, that the conscious, the part where I'm consciously thinking, yes, I'm going to have the relationship, yes, I can make $1 million, that's only running your life 5% of the time. The other 95% of the time is your subconscious mind. Whatever the true you, the unfiltered you, that's what creates your reality. Is your subconscious mind, because that's running your life 95% of the time. If you look at your life right now, it is your subconscious beliefs made manifest. Whatever it is you believe about yourself, whatever it is that you believe is possible for yourself, look around at your life. Look at your relationships. Look at the money that you have in the bank. Look at your body. Look at any area of your life. It is your subconscious beliefs made manifest because we always, this is the thing about, everybody loves to talk about the, oh my gosh, law of attraction, law of attraction. Here's the thing. Law of attraction is merciless. Merciless in the sense that you always get what you're vibrating. You always get what you think. What you truly think, the true you thinks, not the I'm putting on a facade and this is a mask and I want to tell the world that I believe I'm going to make $1 million. No. Do you really believe? Because whatever it is you truly believe is what manifests in your life. The law of attraction is merciless. It delivers to you exactly what it is that you're vibrating, exactly what it is that you think. And so those are the 3 key reasons why we don't have what we want in our lives. The first is we're not clear. We don't know. We have not because we ask not. We've got these vague intentions, very grandiose. I want to be healthy. I want to make money. I want to be in a relationship. But we're not clear on what we want. We're not clear as well on the why we want what we want. The second thing is sometimes that thing that we want comes dressed up in a different dress, in a different costume than how we think it's going to show up in our lives. And we dismiss it. We don't open the door to it because, no, you don't look like, that's not how I imagined this was going to play out. And so we miss out on all these opportunities because it doesn't look how we imagined. And the third thing is you cannot want something and doubt it at the same time. Those are two very different vibrations, two very different energies. You cannot want something and then be doubting that you can have it. Because as I said, you always get what you expect. And so it's really truly about you getting into alignment. I love that word. Aligning yourself in terms of your thoughts. I was actually reading something this week from Dr. Caroline Leaf. And Dr. Caroline Leaf is actually from my home country, Zimbabwe. She studied in South Africa, but she talks a lot about our mind and has studied the mind extensively. She has a lot of great stuff out there. And she said something which really struck me. She said that our thoughts are actually things. I think often we just allow thoughts to just wander in and out of our lives and just that as if we have no control over our thoughts. And yet your thoughts are things. She actually described how in science, in brain science, how your thoughts are actually proteins. They actually create, so when you think a thought, it actually creates a protein in your brain. And then that starts to be the building block. So when you hear the term neuroplasticity, that's exactly what's happening. You are literally building proteins in your brain based on your thoughts. And those thoughts become beliefs. And so this to the thing that I always say, that I say so often, is stand guard at the door of your thoughts. How are you thinking? What are the thoughts that you allow to cross through your mind? Because you literally are creating your life with your thoughts. If you're someone, as I said before, I'm a PK, a preacher's kid, you know that in Proverbs it says, be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. That was not a lie. That was not like science says it. Go read stuff from Dr. Caroline Leaf, from Dr. Bruce Lipton, all these people who are talking about quantum physics, who are talking about the brain and how it works. The fact that our thoughts are literally a thing in your brain. It's actually a protein in your brain that is being formed. And so be careful how you think. Be careful how you think about what is possible for you in your life. It all comes from how you think. And so start to think thoughts that are empowering. Start to think thoughts that actually align with what you want. Start to focus. This is the other thing. A lot of the time, like in my case, as I was telling you, I was focused on the fact that my husband's not romantic. My husband's not romantic. He doesn't do romantic. I was just looking at the lack. And so when you focus on the lack, what does, for those of you who believe in the law of attraction, what does that mean? You attract that to which you think. You attract more of that. So if I'm just focused on lack, what I'm going to get more of, what I'm attracting more of is the lack. And so instead, what I should have been focusing on is the positive. I have an amazing husband. I have an amazing life. We're really happy together. These are the things that are wonderful in this relationship, because that then is what I will attract. And so when you're thinking about your life, what are the thoughts you're thinking? Because they're attracting, they're energy. Dr. Caroline Leaf says your thoughts are energy. That's why you can sit home at your desk all day and be exhausted just by sitting and thinking, because your thoughts literally are creating and consuming energy. And so that's really what I wanted to emphasize today is what is it you want in your life? What is it you want? Are you clear about what you want? Are you clear about why you want it? Are you open to, okay, this is what I want. It may not show up how I imagine, but maybe the universe, God, Allah, whatever your belief is, has a bigger vision for you, and it might show up differently. Being open to it showing up differently. And the third thing is stand guard at the door of your thoughts, because what are your thoughts about whatever it is that you want? You cannot want something and also think a thought in opposition. Be clear about your thoughts. Be focused on what it is that you want, not what you don't want. What is it that you want? And set your goals from that. As always, I want to remind you, you are worthy. You are worthy to be, to do, to have whatever it is your heart desires. And never forget that.